Today we're going to focus on flexibility training. Now the first thing we need to understand is that flexibility is one of the physical capabilities that we lose as soon as we're born. So we need to train this. We need to train it every single day. Now, what is flexibility? Well, flexibility is the body's ability to place itself into different positions. Okay? Now, what can I do, or what compromises, or what encompasses flexibility? Well, it's basically two things. One is going to be joint mobility. The other one is going to be muscle elasticity. Joint mobility being the mobility that a joint has, basically. So how much range of movement that joint can do or can achieve. Muscle elasticity has to do with our muscles and when a force affects them, if they can stretch and they can return to their former shape. Okay? So those two factors are going to be what makes us flexible. Now I'm going to teach you 4 stretches. One of them is the one we mostly use, and we'll get to that right now. It's going to be the second one. The first one is going to be passive stretching. And what we need to understand here is, in passive stretching, we're going to need a person or a machine to help us stretch, like the picture shows. And that's going to be it. So it's a static movement. We're not moving, it's just static. We're going to hold that position, or somebody else or some machine is going to help us handle or maintain that static position. The next one is the static stretching, which is the one we mostly use, right? I'm stretching my tricep, no movement, hold it. It's just myself doing the stretch. No help from anybody else. The third one is active stretching. Now we sometimes do this one, but we don't really realize we're doing it. Now active stretching has to do with 2 muscles. One being the one that's going to be stretch, which is going to be the agonist muscle, and the other one which is going to help this muscle stretch, which is going to be the antagonist. Now let's do an example. If I'm talking about my bicep is the one that's being stretched. But which muscle is pulling right now? My tricep. So my tricep is flexing and my bicep is relaxed. Okay, so this is the one that's stretching. So we have 2 muscles doing that. The last one, the proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, has to do with a bit of movement. Now, we're going to need another person who's going to help us. And this one, we do need a person. It can't be a machine. This is the reason why. Let's go back to the bicep example. I'm going to be flexing my bicep, and I'm going to ask the other person to apply some force, maybe 60% of force. And I'm going to hold that for 7 to 10 seconds. Now, after that, I'm going to release, do the full range of motion of the joint, and then I'm going to stretch. Now, what happens once we get the muscle warmed up? It's going to be a lot more flexible, so it's going to give a lot more stretch. Okay? And it has to do with external factors, and we're going to see those right now. First thing, internal factors, they're going to be age. So as we age, we start to lose flexibility. Gender, women have the upper hand here. I'm sorry, guys, that's how it is. And genetics, you either are or you aren't. Now, as far as external factors, temperature is going to be one of the higher percentages of what's going to inhibit our flexibility. So we need to be really warmed up. Fatigue, if we're tired, we're going to have trouble being flexible. Sedentary lifestyle. If I'm used to sitting down, if I work at a desk all day, I'm not going to be as flexible. The hour of the day, being the best hour when our body or our core temperature is at its peak, around 5 o'clock would be the best bet. Muscle mass. If I'm really bulk, I'm going to have trouble stretching. Okay? Muscle mass grows, it's going to be harder. Now we can practice it and we can get a lot more flexible, but we need to practice. The other one would be our emotional state. If I am tense, if I am angry, I'm not going to be able to stretch. I'm not going to be as flexible as if I am relaxed, I am happy, I'm in a state of bliss. Okay? And so those are my tips. Hope that helps. This is the bibliography where I got all this